Pleased to be joined now by South Dakota Republican John Thune, chairman of the Senate Republican Conference. Senator, welcome. Good morning.
Good morning, Martha.
So what do you think about what Charles Krauthammer had to say last night on Special Report there?
I think he's right. The president said in his post-election press conference that his #1 priority was going to be jobs and growth. We happen to agree with that, and we believe that the way that you achieve that is to keep taxes low on the people who create jobs. What the president's proposal would do is raise taxes on almost 1 million small businesses who employ 25% of the workforce. So I do believe that the president, if he wants a successful second term, wants a growing economy, he's got to have policies in place that will do that, and he's got to have Republicans who can work with him to achieve that. Right now, it seems like this is a one-sided argument. It's all about tax increases, which would be completely counterproductive.
You know, we've had folks on this show yesterday and in so many of the things that I read this morning on these negotiations, there's a lot who believe that the GOP has already given in, basically, on an increase in taxes, that is something that is going to happen, that taxes are going to go up. And then you have voices like Charles Krauthammer saying, what is the Republican Party about if it is not about holding the line on taxes and spending? So which side is it going to be?
Well, he's absolutely right. The Democrats are the big government, high tax party. We are the limited, smaller government, low tax party, and we have to stand on behalf of our principles in this debate. It strikes me, at least, that this can be resolved if the president is willing to put entitlement reform on the table. Republicans have been very willing to talk about revenues, particularly in the context of tax reform, which is necessary to fuel economic growth. If the president will come to the table with entitlements. Let me just jump in for 1 second, Senator, because, pardon me if I may, but there's a piece out this morning in Politico which basically says that the president says, you know what, I won the election. And what I said was everybody's got to pay their fair share. He will not negotiate on the over 250,000 seeing an increase in their taxes. But he said, you know what, if you can show me a way, this is according to this story this morning, if you can show me a way to get that out of tax reform, you know, that's fine, but we're doing the tax rate hikes first. And down the road next year, if you all want to get together and show me your package and how that works with tax reform, adding up to the same in revenues, well, then we'll take a look at it then. What do you say? Well, I think that the president, what he's saying is, if he's concerned about growth in jobs, clearly raising taxes, we've got lots of analysis that's been done that suggests it would cost us more than 700,000 jobs and reduce economic growth. The president is going to go into a second term with a bunch of policies that are going to make it very difficult for the economy to recover, and I think that's something he wants to avoid. That being said, as I mentioned earlier, Republicans are willing to enter into discussion with him, and I hope that when Secretary Geithner comes up here today to Capitol Hill, that he will put forward something concrete. So far, all we've gotten out of the administration are these demands for higher taxes. They are not willing to discuss what is really driving federal spending and debt, and that is entitlement programs. They have to be reformed if we're going to get the country on a sound fiscal trajectory. So we're very willing to enter into that discussion to talk about tax reform. The president wants rate increases. That would be counterproductive. He said 2 years ago in 2010, when the economy was weaker than it is today, or I should say was stronger than it is today, that tax increases at this particular time would be a bad idea for the economy.
I mean, they're going to say, you know, we ran in this election saying that everybody has to pay their fair share, and that means that folks on the upper end of that spectrum, and I know that you believe, Senator, that would be a jobs killer, but you know, look, elections have consequences. It's going to be the mindset from everything we're hearing, and it's a no-go. So what I'm asking you is, are Republicans willing to hold the line, to say to the president, I am sorry, we will never agree to a deal that involves an increase in taxes? Are they?
I think any deal that passes up here that raises taxes, and raises taxes, as I mentioned earlier, on small businesses, Martha, is not going to enjoy Republican support. Now, there may be enough Republicans who would vote for something like that to pass it in the House of Representatives. They need to get to 218
well, then
votes,
it's done,
which assumes they get some Republicans.
Then it would be
we'll
done.
See. We don't know about that. I mean, I think we don't know what the contours of a final deal might look like at this point. Everybody right now is sort of in their corners and doing the posturing, but frankly, we need a plan from the president. Republicans have put forward on multiple occasions a plan that would reform taxes, that would reform entitlements, that gets us where we need to go. We're still waiting for that, any ideas from the administration that would accomplish the same thing.
Let me just ask you one more question before I let you go. Politically, are you more concerned that Republicans might be seen as not willing to negotiate and come to the table, Or are you more concerned that Republicans might lose their conservative credentials if they give in on tax increases?
Well, I'm concerned that Republicans would be undermining what we are all about, and that is growth and jobs. Republicans believe that we need policies that are pro-growth, that will get this economy growing and expanding again, and when that happens, it makes debt and deficits a lot smaller by comparison, too, because you get more government revenue. So you're right, absolutely. It's a core principle of Republicans that we don't want taxes to go up to fund more government. If we have a tax reform effort that actually will lower rates, broaden the tax base, and fuel economic growth, that's something Republicans can embrace. And there could be some additional revenues generated from that by closure of loopholes and deductions and that sort of thing. But we can't accomplish anything by raising taxes that is good for the economy, and we're very concerned about the economy.
Well, it's going to be really interesting to see what Timothy Geithner brings to these discussions today. We'll be reporting on it, and you'll be there on the Hill. Thank you so much, Senator. Good to talk to you, as always.
You too. Thanks.